single month. We want to keep everything more updated and fully aware. Of course, if you have any questions, without a doubt, please feel free to give me a call. I'll be more than happy to sit down with you personally, show you how the accounting thing works, and answer any questions that you might have. As you can see right now, we're probably way under budget, which is a great experience right now. And again, it's just combining things. It's from our maintenance to administration to operations. Total combined right now, year to date, we're 27,000 under budget right now, which is fantastic. And we're continuing to keep this process going with the growth of this neighborhood, this community. Again, if you have any questions at all, please go to Ask Me 24/7.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Chad. So now the committee reports. ABCPOA, from me. And for any new folks in the room or on Zoom, you may not know that this is an association of the different HOAs and POAs in Brunswick County. There's approximately 30 HOA, POAs that are represented at this meeting. Brian is my alternate. Probably take over that when I come off the board in September. But this is an association that, again, representatives from all the major HOAs, POAs in Brunswick County. Everything from the smallest to just a few houses to St. James, which has multiple thousands of those. So they're there to work on issues and problems and things. We can bounce ideas off each other. We're also out there to look at things affecting the county. So without further ado, the HOA, the ABCPOA committee report. Current ongoing activities, project status. We are continuing with our monthly meetings for this association. We are establishing a committee to address the North Carolina House Bill 444 and Senate Bill 378 bills for HOA oversight. These are two bills. I understand maybe the state bill has come out of the committee or come out of the Senate and is going over to the House to be looked at. This will have a major impact on HOAs and POAs across the state. What we're trying to do is reconcile differences in things. The state statutes of 47, which is the homeowners association and the condominium act, and they're trying to put some increased fidelity in there. And at the same time, too, they're putting in some things that are not really very good for HOAs and POAs, and there could be some problems down the road. We just don't know what how language is going to look like. Brian, read up on this, and in case anybody wants to see those, I've got the latest editions of those. There are about 20 pages of legislation lined up archives. I'm happy to share with you if you want to start that. And I will tell you also that we've approved a statement to support from this association support of the commissioner developing a plan to provide sufficient funding for fire protection services. Just so everyone knows, the emergency first responders and things receive their funding from the tax base coming from the residents here. Fire departments are the only ones that only get funding from these taxes. The other services have alternative funding. That's why you see fire departments out doing everything from bake sales, putting on events, things, effective donations, because they're totally dependent on this funding coming in from the fire tax our tax base here. Totally inappropriate. We're trying to do whatever we can to the county commissioners to get them to help out fire departments because most of them are volunteer. But all we can do is continue to try to twist the commissioner's arms and try to use as much political leverage as we can. Because with all the development going on in Brunswick County, first responders, police, fire, EMS need our support, and they need much more robust. Just not getting the support. Lastly, as far as the ongoing activities, the draft of the Brunswick County UDO is expected out in June. We've been expecting that for some time. That will have a great impact on the development in this county. As far as activities done, projects done this time, and no major changes. That's it. Next will be ARC.
What, not so?
No.
He made me come. He said I could go on like that.
I'm Mike Jewett from the ARC, anyone that doesn't know me. Just going to go over our activities that we completed since our last month's report. Since last report, we approved 9 homes, which generates about a little over $11,000 in income for the community. And we had 3 other requests involving changing impervious calculations. We issued 16 warning letters to builders and conducted 9 final inspections. Since our last report, we have fined various builders a total of $3,875. So we're rolling in it, Joe. Not really. Basically, we don't have any, because of those numbers, we don't have any budget issues on reserve or otherwise. Just so you know, right now we have 248 open lots. We're building on 42, but we just got in 2 more, so actually 44. And we've completed 191 lots are built in the neighborhood zone. We're almost getting to our 67%. Other than that, does anyone have any questions? Bob, yeah.
I'm familiar with we put some process.
Yeah.
So we have.
All step back.
So, I heard some scuttlebutt in there, but I was hoping you could put some context around it. Don't know if it's true or false or just some confusion. But what I heard was that we're paying builders or paying money to builders sometimes for something.
It's not a rumor. I don't know exactly why we paid it. But it's not a rumor. What you heard, we did pay a builder.
But we don't know why we paid it.
I don't know why. That was, he went to the board, so I can't tell you why. They have not told me so.
Okay.
Where might it? Did the board pay them?
Yeah.
Pay the builder?
Yes.
Can I sign up for that program?
Why?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I do not.
We can take questions, we can take questions at the end.
Oh, yes. A little plan.
I'm done on that unless you guys have some other questions for me.
That's fine. Next. Doc on Charlotte.
Tell me anything about it.
Yeah, I'm here.
Demon, Charlie Collins, the Boats and Docks Committee Chair. Mine's pretty short here. So current ongoing activities, project status, we have 0 remaining spaces out of the available 75 spaces in the front storage lot. A waiting list is now in effect and we have 0 persons on that list. Activities completed since the last report. The numbers have been stenciled on the pavement for the parking spaces for the RVs and boats and utility trailers. The gate has been removed in the fenced-in area in the water park to allow for golf cart parking. I need to get with Jim, get us a couple signs made so everybody will know that old fenced-in area is for golf carts now. And we're probably going to remove some more fencing because it is kind of tight to get in there right now. The boat ramp was pressure washed again. Thanks, Tom Janke. You know, seems to be the project. That's going to be a routine task as the water temperature is warm. A broken piling was replaced at the floating dock. The final invoice cost unknown to committee. I anticipate that we'll have more broken pilings given the life of those pilings since they've been there. Just routine maintenance. Activities projects within the next 6 months. The committee was approved for $1,200 to replace the rub rails and cleats on the floating docks. Those materials have been ordered and we'll soon begin replacing those, again led by Tom Janke. Line striping of the pavement storage lot will begin and completed by members of the committee as weather permits. We battle winds and rain. This will likely take 3 to 4 weeks and will have to be completed around asking members to shift their boats as we get lines so they can get into a spot. Also, one thing that I have to add that's not on there that just found out this morning, we talked to the engineer for the boat ramp. So he hopes to come out within the next month to give us another evaluation for 2025. Again, that's not on my report, but we just found this information out this morning. So we hope to have our 2025 report and also plan to add that to a routine budget item, for an annual budget item. We are almost complete with the 2025 annual validations for the storage lot. We do have one boat that I want to mention. We don't know whose it is, but if you have a boat that's, what brand is it? The Chaparral with Maryland's numbers. If you're, in Zoom world and are you listening to this or you're here, we just need your 2025 documents so we can get you up to date. We don't know who you are, but at some point we'll have to remove you if we can't figure out who you are. So Chaparral, Maryland's numbers on the boat with no license plate on the trailer. Please get hold of Boats and Docks at boats@oysterharbor.org. Let's see. Current operating budget issues, none. Reserve budget issues, nothing. And that's all I have. Pending any questions from the board.
Thanks, Charlie.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for not making Tom do your report too.
Yeah.
But, with my report, there was no meeting. New stations.
That's right here. Okay, communications report, digital signage at exit gate. We have received the new digital sign that will be installed outside the exit gate. We are currently evaluating how to best use the sign to communicate important updates and messages to residents. We are exploring optimal placement, visibility, message clarity, and scheduling. This will not be a rushed process. The priority is to ensure the display is configured correctly from the beginning and that it serves its intended purpose effectively and professionally. Oyster Pearl newsletter production. We'll be working to produce the upcoming quarterly edition of the Oyster Pearl. The team will continue to maintain the newsletter's consistent format and focus on community highlights, upcoming events, committee updates, and neighborhood news. Website and Zoom support. We continue to manage and maintain the Oyster Harbor HOA website, ensuring residents have access to up-to-date information, documents, directories, and event calendars. They also support Zoom coordination for board of directors meetings and other designated community events to ensure remote access runs smoothly. We have asked all community members to spend time navigating the website and to review the different sections, and encouraged everyone to note any outdated information, confusing layouts, or potential improvements, and suggestions can be submitted to the committee for discussion. New member orientation completed on Tuesday, May 13th. We participated in the new member welcome and orientation event where we provided attendees with a walkthrough of the Oyster Harbor website. The overview included how to register, navigate different sections of the site, access the community calendar and documents, and stay connected with the community. Feedback from new residents was positive, and future sessions will continue to include a website demonstration as part of the orientation. Clubhouse calendar, private event scheduling. We'll be meeting with the social committee to review and refine the process by which private events at the clubhouse are requested and entered into the online calendar. The goal is to streamline the process, ensure clarity for residents, and maintain accurate scheduling for both private and community-wide events. Calendar entry improvements. A small but in fact impactful change is being implemented to improve how events are displayed on the community calendar. Moving forward, we will enter all official Oyster Harbor events as events rather than activities in the admin dashboard. This change will allow events to display in a different color on the community calendar, helping residents distinguish between HOA-hosted events and other types of activities or entries. Additionally, the event setting allows for enhanced detailed fields, which will be used to include additional contact and instructions for residents attending or participating in each event. And then finally, as you can see, call for volunteers. The Communications Committee is always looking for fresh ideas, helping hands. If you have an interest in writing, design, technology, or simply want to be more involved in keeping our community connected, we would love to have you join us. Please reach out to any committee member if you're interested in joining or learning more about what we do. And that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sure. Thank you. Financial plan?
Thank you to all the other committees who have kept Tom Jenke busy. Good time. I'm Dana Jenke. I'm the new Financial Planning Committee Chair.
Tom's one.
Yes. Sorry. Joe. So I'm new to this position, but I wanted to tell you all about what, it encompasses, the Financial Planning Committee, as far as we've gotten so far, because it is kind of a new, situation. We've had a lot of financial turnover. But this is really about, financial planning and going forward and working with the board to advise the board, so that they can make the appropriate decision. The first order of business has been the reserve study, and the reserve study has been kind of a changing spreadsheet about all of the things that would need to be replaced around us. So we're sitting in wonder, right? If this was blown down in a hurricane, or the dock, or the guardhouse gate, or the roads became unusable for whatever, flooding, whatever might happen. That's one of the items. The other item is simply used. So for instance, things just need maintenance, they need repair, but this is more about replacement. So this document that we're working on and working with the committees to go and kind of solidify, how do we make sure that we have the reserve dollars that would make sense for all of us members. So it's very, very important to make sure that we at least do our very best due diligence with respect to, okay, how do we evaluate each year what we allocate to a reserve? Because when you think about it, anybody can say, oh, this could blow over, and what would be the insurance proceeds or whatever. But what you really need to understand is each year we use a little bit more, and it's based on what the usable life is. So everything has a usable life. But what had happened in previous years was things had gone, let's say the pond, fountains in the pond, all of them were listed at 0 remaining usable life for years. Well, that doesn't make any sense, does it? So what we needed to do is now update that reserve study to make sure that it makes sense for all of us. What's really the usable life? And that needs to be reviewed and updated by the committee members and chairs every year. So that's what we're going to standardize now. So I've been working with, and our entire committee has been working, and we're just fielding off each other. And we're talking about what we really want to put into reserve dollars so that every member can be really secure about the fact that if we have disaster strike, it takes into consideration all of the usable life, what it would cost to replace, what the insurance value is, and you can be rest assured that we're doing the very minimum, or what we'd like to do is a little more than the minimum, and make sure that you can be rest assured that if disaster strikes, no matter what, or something needs to be replaced, we can feel that all of our annual dues goes and is set aside for what needs to be done. The one thing I want everybody to understand is it's not really the regular operating situation, which is something like the poles that get busted off. That happens. We can't predict for that. this is more long-term, and what this is setting up for is we have every 4 years, we have an engineer come in and say yes, and go around and say, yes, that's a reasonable usable life. Yes, that's a reasonable replacement value. You're not gonna get into the accounting of it, because I'll bore you to death. But, we're working with all the committee members, and they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And they're giving us, because they're the ones who know what the replacement value is gonna be. Inflation at 1.03%, 3% every year, doesn't make sense. What you need to do is every year, work with the committee heads and make sure that they give us the updated value, because it's gonna change every year. So, we're getting them used to that, and they've been exceptionally receptive. And we're gonna, work with the board as well to see if there's anything else that we can do beyond this 1-year project to help them with the finances of our organization.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Does anybody have any questions?
Can we meet real quick?
Yes, and we are. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dennis.
Graham.
Landed in with
landscape, whatever. Current ongoing, repairing the irrigation, which seems like a weekly thing here because it's old. Been doing a lot of planning at the water park. Hopefully y'all can go out and look at it. When it starts, blooming, I think it'll look very nice. The plan is to have something blooming at all times, so that's what we're trying to do. Projects completed, new pine needles, which I thought looked great, 650 bales. Hopefully we can continue that. New flowers, Carolina Creations put new flowers at the entrance. Who knows how long they're gonna be there with the deer, but, seems to be less deer. Projects planned, still removing the diseased and dead bushes a little at a time, trying to replant those. Carolina Creations is scheduled to prune first week of June. So there's gonna be all of that done. Should look better, but, no budget issues, no nothing.
Mike, would you speak to the pruning of what the plan is? And so everyone can get kind of
Prepared for what's going to happen.
All right, you've got, I don't know if y'all noticed, but look out this window.
You've got 8-foot tall Burford eye hollies out here that should be 3 feet tall. So you're not getting any sunlight in here. The deck is molded and mildewed all the time. So this should have been done years ago, but hopefully in June, we're going to do a major pruning, which means it's going to look bad for a month or two, and it's going to start growing back. But we're going to have to cut these things down like 18 to 24 inches or so. So everybody don't scream, it will come back. The other option is we pay $50,000 and have all this 25-year-old landscaping taken out, replanted, and that may not even cover it. So the point is, would you rather do it in dribs and drabs, or would you rather take a huge hit? So we're trying to do it in dribs and drabs. The other stuff will be light pruning like they've always done, but around the building. And I think it's going to look so much better. You're going to be able to see, and hopefully people will use the deck more, and it won't decay quite as fast as it is now. So that's what we've got humming. I think that's it, right? Okay. All right. Question? Thank you.
Right. Mary Sands, Before Water. I wanted to ask, down at the water park, beyond the gazebo, that area that's down below, a lot of bushes were cut.
and all the cuttings were left there. And I was wondering why they were left there, because during a big storm, that's all gonna wash out into the intercoastal, and I would think that would be bad for boats. And we're gonna have the sea-doos coming through any day. Actually, they're probably already here.
Most of that's gonna be so tangled, and we cut that every year. And
Okay.
it's volunteers to do it because it costs a lot of money to cut that and remove it. So if it's done last year, it wasn't a problem. Most of it, the vines are gonna tangle it up. I don't think there's a storm big enough to take it out.
Okay.
But it's either pay someone to take all that out of there, it's probably $3,000 or $5,000, or just let Mother Nature kind of take it over again. That's what we offer to do.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you. Yeah.
Anything else?
Thank you. Member orientation.
Before I start, I'm Judy George. I'm the co-chair of the Member Welcome Committee. My co-chair, Mary Ann Ivy, is home this evening with her lovely husband, John, celebrating their 54th wedding anniversary. So, Mary, John, if you're watching, congratulations. Okay, our ongoing project will be a review of the welcome event we held on this past Tuesday, the 13th. And, that was our 7th annual, biannual right now, event since this version of the committee was created in 2022. We invited 36 new Oyster Harbor members. Some of those were lot owners, some are in the process of building, and most of them were people who have already moved here, become our neighbors. It was a real nice group. They were very positive. They're excited to live here. They love the trees, all that good stuff that we love about Oyster Harbor. So we had 22 people there, and we look forward to meeting all the other new people who will come for our next event. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is begin planning for the next one with a discussion of adding at least one more event during this year. So we'll have one in October, November after the board meeting. So we might be looking at one, I don't know when, somewhere before then. Okay? And we have no budget issues. Thank you.
Thank you. All good.
Good afternoon. My name is Bill Justice. And I'm going to start down here with projects that we've recently completed. We had 2 new fountain lighting assemblies replaced in the last cycle or period. And one was on Eagle Lake and one was on Palmetto. The one on Eagle Lake was probably 12 to 15 years old. Those lights go into a sort of a sealed canister that's in the water. And the seals and everything were causing those lights to continually have to be replaced. So we just replaced the whole assembly, which is a new assembly, which is up to date and built better. It'll work for many years to come. The Palmetto lights didn't have the actual issues with lights burning out and leakage, but they were the old halogen lights that used a lot more energy. Bulb replacement was a lot more, and the lights just didn't look as nice and bright as the LED lights. So again, we'll get a lot longevity out of those that lighting assembly as well. Plus, there's 2 fountains in Palmetto, and now both fountains match. Hope the people who live along there noticed that. So then we go up to the activities that we are currently working on. And speaking of the fountains, all the fountains are working properly, all the lights are working properly. We do have 2 fountains that are not flowing as good or as tall or as we would like. And part of the problem this time of year is the lakes generate a lot of filamentous algae that floats up into the fountain screen and causes a restriction there. We have the contracting company, Total Lake Care, coming out. They were scheduled for tomorrow, but they called to reschedule for Monday to turn those fountains over, clean the screens, and we should be back to a full operating flow on all those fountains until they plug up again. Secondly, we did receive some good news. It's a project that's in progress. It's not part of the pond, I guess you say responsibility, even though we'll be the ones directly using it. We do get some new stairs and handrails down to the weir on the Russell Hewlett Lake on the outlet going out to the river. And that'll be a good addition to that to improve the safety of everyone that might be cleaning that weir in the future or, currently cleans it. Another ongoing project that we completed it, but still needs some additional work. The well pump, we have 3 wells that are feeding the ponds at Mallard, Cardinal, and Ibis. And the well pump, 25 gallon a minute, 1 horsepower submersible pump, 15 years age, just stopped, just got old and quit working. Bought the new pump, had it installed, and what we found out was these wells have screens on the bottom of the casing that allow the water to flow from the surrounding gravel into the well. And if that screen gets debris, fine particles, whatever, on the screen, the water coming into the casing is not as fast as the water being pumped out, which will cause to be like a drinking straw. You got water surrounding it, but no water going out. So anyway, we're going to look at the possibility of rehabilitating that well at Mallard Lake. It's been an interesting thing because we've got a 25 gallon a minute pump that's now only running about 7 to 10 gallons a minute. It's taken weeks, and that thing's still got about 1.5 feet of level that it has to regain to get to full level capacity. Total Lake Care, they continue to do the algicide and the dye in the ponds, and we're very pleased with the performance and work that they provide us with. The activities that will be planned for the next 6 months as we get the Mallard Lake refilled fully, then we'll evaluate the pump and the flow situation on that to determine when to do the rehabilitation. And so far as current operating budget issues, we don't have any reserve budget issues. We did do the reserve reorg, I guess you'd call it, with the FPC committee member, and got that taken care of. We've got the same number of members, and we haven't had any additions or removals.
Is one? Yeah, 2 team members, 2.
We have
3 total.
I said no new members. We have 3 members, myself, Jim, and Bob Gray.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I am Leanna Winslow. I'm co-chair for the Safety and Preparedness Committee. Ongoing activities are Community Watch. If anybody wants to sign up, get involved, let us know. We're working still on traffic calming devices. So again, if you have any good ideas about that, let me know. Activities projects completed since last report. We have scheduled a family town hall. We have partnered with the social committee, and on June 14th, we're gonna have a big party. Everybody has to come. Bring your kids. We wanted this, we've had a few safety and preparedness town halls, but we wanted this one to really bring the kids out, make this one a little bit different. So the social committee is having a kid party at the pool, and that will follow our event.
And what we're having is the fire department, the sheriff's department, EMS, they're all coming, they're all bringing their fun stuff, canines, cars, fire trucks. So bring your kids, your grandkids, or your friends' kids, because if no kids show up, besides mine, of course, but, yeah, y'all are all welcome. It's also gonna be Flag Day, so we're gonna have flags for, each of the kids. We'll have a tent set up to hand out flyers for safety and preparedness. So it's gonna be a good time. Hope to see you all there. June 14th. It's all, I think it's Father's Day weekend. So it'll be fun. We also are reassessing our goals and priorities, just to make sure we're efficient and organized and streamlined and all of the things we have going on. And we are revising our post-disaster policy. That's currently out on the website, but it's in need of revision. Plan to start within the next 6 months. We've had first aid and CPR classes in the past, but we want to schedule some more. So we hold them here in the clubhouse, and anybody who's interested can come and they can get their certifications. We had a great time last time. It was like $25, I think. It was great. Yeah. Thank you. Budget issues, none. Reserve, no issues. We lost Mike Walmart on our committee. So if anybody wants to join, we'd be happy to have you. We have a good time, right, Phil? And if you have, any law enforcement experience or background, that would be really helpful. So, any questions?
Leanna, comment in.
You gotta ask Carlos putting the flyer together, but I want to say everyone's coming to set up at 11. The fire trucks and the cars. They're going to have a search and rescue vehicle from the sheriff's department, and then EMS is bringing one of those really big buses where they transport like multiple people who need to be on things during an evacuation. So the kids should really enjoy that. And if we can get a fire hydrant nearby, the fire department's going to let the kids put out a little house. So it should be fun. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Will do. Okay.
Charlie and the water park uses and everything, it's all gonna be up here for parking for boat trailers and different stuff. Going to be very limited. So everybody, all the boat fishermen out there need to be aware that that's gonna be a busy weekend for this area. But going how traffic gets down to what I need. Right, that's what I'm saying. The boats with the trailers or stuff that they park over here where all this is, not gonna be available for all the emergency vehicles.
And it is a Saturday,
So, I mean, it's earlier in the morning, hopefully we'll be out of the way for afternoon voters, but.
Are we gonna add that to like your Tuesday, your weekly thing? Okay. Yeah.
So that'll be.
Just as long as we communicate via your.
Every Tuesday from now, so.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm here.
I'm Bonnie Fielder. I live on Skipping Stone, and I'm reading this report for Carla. Our current and ongoing activity, we usually meet the second Tuesday of each month. And currently we're planning for the Memorial Day event on the 26th. And that's at 3:00 in the clubhouse. This event will include grilled hamburgers, hot dogs, and outdoor games. Attendees will be asked to bring a side dish. No charge for this event. Ladies Bunko Night takes place on the second Monday of every month. Everybody wants to attend that. That's a fun event for the girls. Completed projects since the last report. We had our charcuterie sampling and wine tasting on April 4th. It was attended by 64 members and guests. We had great abundant charcuterie. was prepared by the social committee, and members provided a wonderful selection of wines and tasting. That was also a very fun and that's what they said. No, I'm kidding. Um, let's see. The wiffle ball tournament at Mallard Park was on the 26th of April, and it was a fun day. 97 persons took part in the activity. The winning team, Harbor Heroes, was led by manager player Brian Benson. All teams were congratulated for their efforts. Kudos to Mike Schiavone and Judy George, all the volunteers in the social committee for a job well done. The Cinco de Mayo Fiesta Party was enjoyed by 55 members. The social committee members provided the taco bar and all the trimmings. Members brought tasty desserts to share. We'll do this again next year. If anybody missed it this year, she can mix it. So our activities plan to start within the next 6 months. Our next event is the Memorial Day party on the 26th at 3 o'clock with hamburgers and hot dogs cooked by our grill master, Hank. Members will be asked to bring a side dish to share. Outside games will be provided, entertainment for the adults and kids. Our committee will partner with Safety and Preparedness Committee to provide a fun day for the kids in the neighborhood on June 14th, starting at 11. The local fire department and sheriff's department will be on hand with their vehicles and K9 units for the kids to tour. Pool party will follow these presentations with games and ice cream for the children. Make plans to take part in our annual 4th of July celebration. We'll have those details to follow, and just make sure you see the events calendar for more information of upcoming events. No budget issues, and we had one membership change. We added Amy Mahoney to our social committee.
Thank you.
Structures.
All right, I will be reading that out since we do not have a chair, so anybody would like to join us and be a chair. John Champlain has typically done that, but he spends 6 months of the year in Florida, 6 months here, so he got to be a little overwhelming. Ongoing activities are assigned each month. Trash, we coordinate trash pickup and take out. Monitor street light performance, maintain the guardhouse, state and U.S. flags. Monitor clubhouse lighting, change light timers, change the refrigerators for electricity, and monitor the pool lights. So we change the pool lights as the season changes, as it gets later. Robert earlier, we continue to change those. As far as activities, progress completed since last report, we have added new speed limit signs throughout the neighborhood with several more to be put out. We're going to put several on Bluefin, several on Eagle Crest, and we did add one additional one on Hill Under as well. This follows, we put several up last month on Oyster Harbor. So we'll continue to do that. It's obviously it's a deterrent factor. Some people are still want to drive too fast, but it's just for deterrence. We did also install new weight limit signs. Chad and I put weight limit signs on the back gate to try to stem the large trucks from coming across the weir in the back. So John Hyden, who lives back there, typically lets us know when those happen, and I haven't heard from him since we put those up, so fingers crossed. But we did put them on either side of the gate back there.
assisted with repair of, if everybody up here at the front, the Orchard Harbor Parkway sign has finally been replaced, the street sign where it was knocked down a long time ago. But it is repaired now, if no one's noticed, the street sign is now back up. And again, like I said, we adjusted like timers, several times due to the, daylight hours. Project plan, already started. One thing I didn't want to let everyone know that we did, John Champlin did get estimates for our pool, furniture. It has been ordered, so it is on its way. So the plan is to, over the next few years, is to kind of really spread out the cost, but replace pieces on an ongoing basis rather than waiting until items are just totally destroyed. So we have, 3 or 4 new sets of tables, chairs, lounges, umbrellas, that will be replacing. So they're on their way now, so however long it takes. We've got, commercial grade quality, so hopefully this will last longer than buying local, you know, in one of the big box stores. So it's all right. So that should be arriving, shortly. Also we respond to all gate issues when the gates hit, when it stops working. We come up and use our tools and open the gates if needed, which we had to do before. And also, we're working on estimates for the ceiling of the parking lot up here as well. Assist the board with pool furniture, assist the board with major items, structures, if they have a skill or labor to do it. And two, a big shout out to Tom Jenkins for saving us thousands. It's pain. I mean, I know he's done a lot of other stuff around here, but I mean, that saved us an absolute ton of money. And it looks fantastic. I mean, we're not in the, you know, the community wasn't, I mean, it's a major upgrade, I mean, to the gold and whatever that color might be. It reminds me of colors, it reminds me of colors from the 80s, you know, that kind of, yeah. So now we are modern now, so big shout out to that. As far as there's no budget issues, and and again, we're in need of members and we're in need of some chairmen.
Hey, Brian, I did buy, purchase a digital timer today for the pool license program. Also, we can set it to the minute. I'll change it out the next few days.
So yes, the digital timer, Scott said that the digital timer comes in, the digital timer was purchased today. For the pool. So, good one. Post compliance, due to technology reasons, because I'm not progressive technology, I could not print the item, and Lynn at the last minute did not make it, so I did not have a report for that. Other than, there is a member, to that committee, is Rod Butler. He is fairly new to the community, he's been here, what, 2-3 months now? So, we have a new member for that, and we did lose Lynn, Jack. We lost Jack off that as well. Yes, okay, yes, so,
That didn't do it, it's on the agenda.
Oh.
Okay, so hopefully everyone's enjoying the new drive, out the local drive on paving. And we have completed even the punch list items, if you notice our little swimming pool front is gone. We have one area that they just missed, and that's the connector on Redfish and Cranberry. And they are scheduled to come back and finish that. So we have paid everything to them, except we are still holding $2,500 for the plan budget interest, just to make sure we get their attention to get it done, but that project is complete.
Facility access.
As far as access, we are still very busy, 24/7, as you can imagine. Obviously, with all the new residents that are coming in, constantly we were up there. Of course, people are buying, selling cars, and we're changing out, making sure the new tag readers are issued, the old tag readers are removed. And so it keeps us, it's a pretty much 24 hours a day job sometimes. The one thing we will bring up, if you're ever having a party, for example, and you're inviting your friends over for that Saturday, and they're coming in from out of town, feel free to contact the access committee, because what we can do is set up a special code that's just going to be active for that time period. So for example, again, you're having parties coming over, they're all going to be arriving that Saturday afternoon. Instead of getting out your personal code, contact us a couple days in advance. Tell them exactly when your time period is going to be. And we can go ahead and give you that special code that's going to be activated. In this example, 10 o'clock that morning, this will be deactivated at 4 o'clock that afternoon. And it's a better way to do it. Obviously, you have more of your friends coming in the neighborhood, having more interaction, but without having to get your personal code out. And so that's a big thing that we really want to try to enforce. Again, is we're continuing to grow this community, getting larger and larger with all the new residents coming in. That's something we really need to think about, again, not just this year, but obviously what we'll be looking at the next 2 to 3 to 4 years from now, when we go ahead and get to the point where this neighborhood is maxed out. How are we going to try to manage more protection for our neighbors next door?
So, continuing with what Chad was saying, the effort behind this issue related to access started last July. We looked at it from a technology perspective, database perspective, and admin perspective. It's taken that long since just July to where we are now to really get our head and our hands and arms around all this stuff, because there was a lot of issues related to just access with large into our community and its amenities. Last month, during our association meeting, March 20th, we talked about, now we're starting to look at the physical measures. And after that meeting on the 10th of April, we had our town hall, and we're starting to look at just kind of get a general sense of people are thought about access and the physical measures. We have roughly 18, 19 folks who offer comments, or those of you that came or participated, we appreciate that. And we pulled the responses back from that town hall, took those responses and we as a board discussed them. And basically, exactly remember what Bill and I talked about it, that basically the responses came back, we're kind of all over the map, but anyway, the responses came back fell into two camps. Those that felt like we had a problem and those that did not. And a lot of it had to do with the time period that we were in the community and or not. So the board discussed it, and what we decided to do is pull together a small group of volunteers, a working group, to see if we can't get our arms around this and do this in a very comprehensive, it's a complex issue, we recognize that. And now we want to use this working group to try to get our arms around it, and try to come up with some potential solutions going down the road. I reached out to some of the participants in that town hall, came up with Paul Marlowe, who has volunteered to help us out with it. Phil Justice volunteered for another meeting, which I appreciated. Johan Novak, who is a new community, has volunteered. Chris Creekmore, who's a resident here in the community, has volunteered. As well as Chad and I are volunteering on this as well. And I will offer it up to those of you here in the room on Zoom, if you would like to be part of this small work group to help us try to understand this issue, come up with some possible solutions if there are problems, then we go from that. But anyway, we're having our first meeting starting tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And we will have some meetings after that, I'm sure. But anyway, we want to use the community out there to give us feedback. We will be developing a survey to go out to the entire community. That means all property owners, no matter whether you're local or not. Everybody sees it. It'll be a short survey, and look for that feedback. We'll pull it back into the work group and go from there. No, we're not predisposed to any kind of position on this stuff. We're starting from scratch on it. So that will start at 2 o'clock tomorrow if you're interested. trustee me or see Bill, he's usually around here, so anyway, we're taking it all on. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Ready? Yep. On the new business.
That's another one.
Yeah, we're starting our orchard. All right, so as we know, we already talked about the growth inside this neighborhood. As we come back, we go back to the state, gosh, 10 years ago, I've heard people talk about just 2 or 3 homes a year were being built. But obviously, as Mike talked about earlier today, with the ARC, we have 41 home sites currently under construction right now. We're constantly receiving applications. I know myself, from last year, we had about the same volume. So obviously, things we looked at as far as our guidelines, as far as what the official guidelines, how they were written, the documentation, the wording was done 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and so on, and if they need to be updated. So one thing we started back before the end of last year was the ARC started to really work with the board, and we started bringing out new ideas, new concepts, new changes that could be laid out. And that's been a nonstop process throughout the whole entire this spring season. So the good news is, the ARC has worked with the board, and we have worked directly with the ARC and also with post compliance. And we've actually all together come up with 2 different guidelines. So the guidelines will be posted coming up next week, and we're going to have the whole ARC guidelines set up for all new construction, new people coming in, looking to buy a piece of property, thinking about the homes they can look at. They're going to have more detailed and more layout, pros and cons, all the lists, what they can and cannot do, and different concepts. The same exact thing with the post-compliance committee. They're going to have a whole nother set of completely separate guidelines. So you're already a resident here, and all of a sudden you want to add on a gazebo in your backyard, or if you want to look about putting in some new stone paths, and you want to see what's obviously allowed, taking down trees and so on. That's going to be a whole different committee, but all those guidelines would be, obviously, we can log onto the website and see and read them instantly. And that's going to be a great asset as our neighborhood continues to grow and more members living here nonstop.
If we're going to do business now, strategic plan update, Brian.
Yes, this is going to be very short, because there is no plan.
We have no strategic.
I'm the only one, so I had several volunteer, and then back out. And then I had one who is moving, so that's understandable. So I've had no other volunteers at all.
Ryan, what is the strategic plan committee?
It's intended for us to start out as a small group to determine what we expect Orchard Harbor to look like. You know, where the reserve is looking. Yes, we're looking at what is our idea about, so for example, a clubhouse. Well, we're not building a clubhouse 2 years from now, but what does that look like? You know, 20 years down the road, 15 years down the road, 10 years down the road. As the community evolves, you know, we're not the same community we were when it was established, you know, even 10 years ago when we moved in. Now there was, you know, 70 houses here, now there's 191, and if it continues to grow like it is, you know, 3 or 4 years from now, we're going to be completely built out. So, what is the strategy going forward? So, obviously, our goals, you know, our full signs are 191 homes. Sometimes, when you get 470 some odd in here, you gotta look at the goal. Or is, as Charlie knows now, anyone who has a boat who moves in here now doesn't know where to park their boat. So we look at options, looking at strategic alternatives. So for example, you know, we don't have enough land here inside the community to park all these boats. I mean, even if we've got some little bit of land, but even if we use that land, it's still not much. So can we look at an option of, is there a property around us that maybe is for sale, maybe we could purchase? So that's what we're looking at, long term.
Out of the box.
Yes,
5, 10 years down the road.
Instead of a day-to-day,
Have a program for it.
kind of year to year.
Isn't that kind of what the financial planning, the new financial planning is?
They're gonna be part of that. Financial piece of this is a piece of it.
Yeah, 'cause it sounds like you kind of tied.
Yeah, very much.
That's an excellent point, and if I might add to that.
Can you come up here?
Again. Oh, gosh, sorry. That's an excellent question, because I think regardless of who's
determining the strategic plan, what kind of plans you put into place. The fact of the matter is we can do nothing without what? So, but what's more important, I think, is because we have legal requirements to making sure that we have enough people on board with respect to the community at large, we need a certain voting, and I'm guessing, I'm sorry, I'm only a year into this, living here, but all the states have different regulations. But what you're gonna need, and I still am not privy 100% to how we apply our HOA guidelines and what our requirements for voting would be. But the fact of the matter is the strategic plan is going to have to be known by not just that committee, but by everybody. So that when a decision needs to be made, everybody's on board, my opinion.
So the plan originally envisioned
It's a 5 to 10 year down the road, look, just like Brian saying, it's like that. This is a complex issue, that's what I'm trying to talk. We have to program for it, is it less than the realm of possible, feasible, is it? We don't know. But if we don't start looking now, we're gonna be 5 years from now, 10 years down the road, we'll be looking at, just like we are set here at meeting like this today. So you have to look forward to start planning for it. What are the legalities of being a not-for-profit corporation, an HOA? We are on a fixed income. So that's the complexity of this, and Brian's trying to get this started, and we're asking the community to start it. This is just the basic framework of it. This is gonna involve the community, every person who owns a piece of property, if you really live here or California, you're part of this, you pay the dues for this. You have to be part of it. This is not really easy, but if you don't look now, we're just kicking the can down the road, and somebody down 5 years down the road will say, why didn't those folks back in 2025 start doing something about it? And there's the first part of this, to get the reserve right, so we don't have to base funds for that. Or the dollar bar, we'll get all contracts now, we need the budget cycle coming up next month. This is the start.
So the key on your question, it's an excellent question.
That makes sense.
The financial planning group is dealing with what we're doing now, what we have, what's existing, whether it's buildings, amenities, property, whatever we deal with. The strategic planning group is about the future. Just giving insight, it'll end up going to the financial planning group, but it's the ideas of where the community's at.
If there's comments and stuff, we're getting ready to transition over into the comments and questions and stuff. So if you've got questions, now come on up to the podium, raise your hands on people that are here to interact with them. We're pretty much time to do
well.
Keep jogging slowly.
I'm Judy George. I live on Full Water, and I've noticed the weight limit signs that we have, which I think are good. But my suggestion would be when you come down off of Windy Point and you turn on Russell Hewitt there's a sign, that white sign that says turn back. I think a weight limit sign should be put on the bottom there.
It's orange. It's orange. I'm virtue.
We didn't, I knew when you guys didn't say that the other signs were coming, I was like, it's gonna be.
We definitely have more signs.
I've been bleeding back there. I'm Scott Reed, and I'm on the ARC. And I just wanted to kind of throw something out here, see what everybody thinks. We've been building houses out here for quite some time. And we've always stayed in kind of a low country type house. And in the new guidelines, we're gonna have some other possibilities that the builders can pick. But I'm kind of wanting to get a feeling.
Everybody, what do y'all think about if we said no more low country houses for a while? Because I don't care how you change them, they all look alike. Every low country home, one way or another, resembles the other. Every house out here, just about every house, 70% of them all look alike. And I didn't know if, and this is something the ARC and the board can talk about, but I just want to kind of throw that out there and see what everybody thought. Because they're all looking alike. I don't care how we tell them you got to do this, they still look the same. So if maybe we could put a limit and say no more low country homes for a year, or I don't know. I'm just throwing this out here and get everybody thinking about it. So.
Wait, stop.
Great question, thank you. Got it, Art, and that's the last question.
But I want to know what he wanted to ask.
Has to come up.
Yeah, he has to come up.
Please,
Yeah.
okay.
The shouting of the audience doesn't work.
Hi, my name's Scott Stalker, live on Healing Water Lane. I guess my concern with that is I'm fine with that. I agree, there's a lot of low country, you wanna call it, Southern Charm homes in here. I've just got done designing one of them, already submitted to this board. I'd like to talk to you guys afterwards, just to kind of meet you. I think it's great to introduce maybe a little bit different architecture in the neighborhood. I don't think just putting a stop to it is a good idea, because there are people that have been planning, like my wife and I, for years, designing a plan, trying to get it priced and stuff like that. So just putting a stop to it, I don't think is a good idea, but allowing additional architecture styles, I think is a good thing. But I think maybe limiting a number to a year, but I guess, again, just putting a stop to it. If you decide to do that today, it really kick me in the butt, so that's a lot of money on
this. Tom BJ Crane, and I'll come up here, Tom is a resident.
Not as a board member. At the end of the day, this is a custom-built neighborhood. That's what it was founded on. Over the years, the lure of low country style kind of became the standard. But if you drive through this neighborhood and look, we have two homes right here at the front that are not low country, right? We've got a beautiful home that's over on Bluefish that I would call Mediterranean. I'm sure that's not actually what it's called. And we've got a couple of traditional brick homes in this neighborhood. I think a moratorium is just not possible because, like Scott has just said, they've spent years planning this. This is a custom-built home, and the ARC will have to work with, and they do a great job of working with property owners to build those dream houses. Can we not have any more white ones? That's my request.
Yeah.
I'll say something else.
How about green
I didn't necessarily mean.
Is that all the builders have bought the lot. And that's all they want to put out here because they've got plans just for low country homes. Now, if they have a custom home like yours or that you've designed, that's different. But what the problem is, all these builders own about all the lots that are left. Not all of them, but a lot. And they are property owners. But all they want to do is put these same houses, because that's the only plans they got. They got 4 or 5 plans, and a lot of them have the same plans that this builder has, that this builder has. So I'm not saying completely really stop it, but we've got to do something. Or they're all going to still look alike. Okay. Thank you.
Ruth Sundstrom, I live on West Harbor Parkway. Getting back to the ARC committee report, why did we pay a builder and how much did we pay?
No, we took that. Right.
Well, yeah.
So.
Is it a rumor?
So we take the question because you're asking opinions.
The board, we have to get together to see what, and come up with a response to what it's going to be. We all agree with that response there.
Okay,
Okay.
but.
And it will be here.
So did the board agree to pay a builder?
I can tell you that there's a sequence of events and there's a story behind this.
Is it a yes or no?
Behind this, and you publish that, and yes, you get a response.
Well, you're not gonna answer the
I can't
question.
hear you.
Did the board
Or we can
approve
go,
a yes
we
or
can go in the
no?
other room and we can take an executive session.
There's some subpiece to this that you're seeing in response to mine, or the direct question answer on this, okay?
Well, you're not answering at all, you're just saying that the board has to get together, but apparently you already did.
That's correct.
So I'm going to assume that yes, the board approved the bill to repay. Thank you.
We can take an executive session right now and go in there.
Oh, wait a minute. Second question, unrelated.
Oh, no. Let's go to the.
Wait, I'm sorry, second question. Grounds, Cardinal Lake, Cardinal Pond. Can we get Carolina Creations to come around the perimeter of Cardinal and clean the scrub stuff that's growing? I went through this last year, and it took 4 months for them to come once. So can we get them to come around Cardinal? I know there's no community access around Cardinal. However, the pond guy comes to treat the algae and the fountain guy can get in there. So I think Carolina Creation should be able to get in there also. Okay, maintenance season, Bill said there's a maintenance season, so can we get them to come and clean around the? Right. Okay.
We're very aware, it's not just Cardinal. We also have a member that asked about Eric. And so they were put on notice yesterday that the ponds are of utmost importance as much as the grass. And that they have a schedule that we presented them in the contract, and they are to adhere to that schedule.
We're related, I'm sorry.
Judy George again, and I'm here as the chair. Well, I had a email yesterday. Me, fish.
Is there a map on the website that clearly shows the fishing areas that we can direct our new members to?
I know we have a map.
No.
I don't know if it's on the website, dude. That's a great
Okay,
question.
I think so, because I was like, I think you can fish here, I think you can fish here. I said, you can fish off of the gazebo in Russell Hewitt, but, yeah, I cannot answer that question.
When we established fishing back in the 3 ponds.
Right.
The online ponds.
Right.
We did dictate and draw maps for
Right.
that, and it is available, so we'll get it on the website.
Yeah, I think it needs to
If
be on
it's
the
not, we
website,
will.
because he was asking about like walking around the whole lake and I know that's not.
Plus there's signs.
Yeah, so, okay, thank you.
Anything online? There's any questions or comments? All right, well then it's 8:18 p.m. Hey, hey. All right, thank you.